What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Me TV Reviews. I am your host, Mo, and tonight, y'all, we're going to be discussing based on a true story. It feels like I've been gone for quite some time, but I've only been gone for a couple of days, y'all. But I miss y'all. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday, however you decide to celebrate it. So, without further ado, let's go ahead get into the show, y'all. This is season 2, episode 5, titled Double Fault. Now, I'm gonna try to do episode 5 and episode 6 in the same recording, so we'll see what happens. All right, so the synopsis for this one is: Nathan plays a redemption match against a lifelong rival. The new serial killer haunting Los Angeles sends Ava a cipher to decode, and Matt offers Ava his expertise, claiming he knows how to get into the mind of a murderer. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it. So we begin the episode with Nathan serving up an ace of love to Ava as we see how their love story actually began. Okay, he was playing a match and she was a ball girl. When he went to serve it up, it went way left. It hit Ava right in the forehead, y'all. It knocked her out for a quick second. And so when she came to, y'all, love was all in his face. It was all in her face too, okay? It was all up and through there. And the rest is history. Now, 15 years later, they're role playing in bed. And y'all, he is back on top of the tennis world because he's just won Wimbledon. Again, y'all, they're role playing, okay? But he keeps bringing up this guy named Danny for some weird reason. And so she finally asks him what's up, right? And so he decides to come clean to her about bidding their entire savings for this match. And she's so pissed at him, y'all, she can't even look at him. So instead, she checks her phone. Now, when she goes to check her phone, she's stunned to discover that she has literally become an overnight sensation. Because the copycat killer has struck again, y'all, this time killing actor Jared Leto, who was playing Dr. Fauci in a medical film. She was right. Okay, she goes on her social media and sees a lot of people have started to not only follow her, but also give her props for properly predicting what the police couldn't. Hell, at this point, the police are even acknowledging that they were wrong about the West Side Ripper being the culprit. They've even coined themselves the Fluffies. Fluffles? The Fluffies. The Fluffles. It's the Fluffles, y'all. Ava's got a following. So Nathan and Matt are practicing, right? And he can't really seem to get his head in the game because he feels awful about having this buyer's remorse for this bid for this game, y'all. So yes, he does want to reclaim this small piece of pride that he felt like he lost all those years ago. But he doesn't want to lose Ava as an expense. Okay. Now, Matt tries to encourage him that this is all a part of him gaining more confidence as a man, which will in turn strengthen his and Ava's relationship. And although Nathan seems pretty skeptical about his end results, he does decide to keep practicing. Okay. He done made it this far, right? So it's too late to turn back now. Now, Ava meets with Drew. Why did I put Drew? That is her name, Drew. Ava meets with Drew and she's pissed and she's blaming social media, more specifically Murder Bunny, for trying to steer her investigation away from the truth, which is the West Side Ripper is responsible for all of this, okay? Not some copycat serial killer that doesn't even exist. And so as they're talking, y'all, Drew notices that Ava is very distracted. Her phone keeps blowing up, and although we know it's her social media page, she lies to Drew saying that it's Tori. But when she offers to go talk to Tori, Ava quickly declines the offer. Now, Drew asks her, are they good? Because she can clearly feel that they've grown distant over the last couple of days or weeks. And while Ava's mouth says no, we can clearly see that her eyes are still glued to her phone due to the copycat killer sending out this cipher, okay? And so, clearly seeing that Ava's attention is elsewhere right now and not on her friend, Drew pays for her tab and leaves. And Ava was like, no, don't leave, girl, don't. Oh, forget it. That's more time for her to try to figure this out, right? So she's back at home and she's looking at this letter when Matt comes to talk to her about Nathan. Now, he knows that they kind of have hit a rough patch where she's upset with him, but he needs her to temporarily forgive Nathan so he can get focused on his match. But she ain't ready to do that. She ain't ready to give in so easily. Don't tell her how to feel. That's one thing that you don't do. You don't tell a woman how she's supposed to feel and when she's supposed to feel it. Okay, but he tried. But he says that he can help her with decoding this letter. All she has to do is say that she needs his help. Now, she ain't gonna give him that satisfaction. Y'all know Ava can't stand Matt. Okay? And so she keeps on saying that she's good. She gonna figure this out on her own. And he says that the only reason that he wants that she wants to do this, to figure this out, is so she can get the spotlight on herself. You know, she love all that spotlight, okay? And this ain't about that. You're supposed to be about saving lives, but we know what it's really about. And so he throws out a clue that could possibly help. But since he's not needed here, he'll go where he's wanted, which is to go be supportive to his buddy Nathan. Now, at the tennis court, Nathan is trying to get in his zone when Danny shows up. And oddly enough, Danny apologizes to Nathan for the TBI, which is a traumatic brain injury that he thought that he had suffered. And I was like, what is happening here? Is that the fundraiser that y'all was giving to, the charity cause that y'all was supporting? What's happening? Now, Nathan awkwardly tells Danny, nope. TBI, what are you talking about? I've never experienced one of those. And Danny kind of just like shrugs it off and was like, okay, yeah, it was really good to see you. He's cheerful, very cheerful, okay? He got money to make, leaving Nathan puzzled. Now, Danny doesn't seem to take this half as serious as Nathan does, okay? Hell, he don't even remember the match that they played all them years ago. To him, this is just a friendly game of tennis. This is for charity. This is not for a championship, okay? Now, Matt tells him to get in the game, okay? But it's seeing his baby boo Ava that sends him to his sweet game spot. Now he's ready. He's ready to play. Now, when she comes up, he's like, oh, baby, I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for coming. And she was like, yeah, good luck, okay? I only came because I wanted to show off my tennis fit, okay? She did look good in her fit, y'all. She did. But she's still pissed at him. Now, like I said, she really wishes him good luck. She's not really there to support him per se. She's actually there to talk to Matt. She pulls Matt to the side and reveals that the copycat killer reached out to her specifically and told her that she has 4 hours to decipher this message. And if not, bodies will be hitting the floor. Who sung that song, y'all? Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. I feel like that was on a movie. Anywho, now, while Nathan is getting ready to start his match, Ava and Matt are trying to figure out this code. And so as she's walking, she's talking Cash Money about getting this guy, whoever it is. She walks past this lady who seems to be quite the Bible thumper, okay? And so this lady was like, hey, you don't need to be taking the Lord's name in vain. But she doesn't pay attention to all the other curse words that Ava was saying. That's the only one that sticks out. I guess that's the only one of importance. Okay. So they're able to decode some of the letters with the help of some young kid that comes by. And she was like, hey, youth, come here. Tell me what IDC stands for. You know, because you look pretty young. You could tell me that. And I'm like, Ava, how old are you, honey? What? You don't know what IDC stands for? And so he kind of looks at her puzzled and he was like, I don't care. And she started snapping off on him. And Matt was like, no, it actually stands for I don't care. And so they come up with PS 943. They decide to go back to the Bible thumper because this is the only thing that makes sense to them, okay? Psalms 94, Psalms chapter 94, verse 3, okay? And lo and behold, there is a Psalms 94 and 3. Okay, and so they come up with wicked triumph. They further decode and come up with the next victim, who they believe is going to be Dr. Samuel Nye, not to be confused with Bill Nye, the science guy. Okay, this Samuel Nye is the chair of Cedar surgery at Cedars-Sinai. Now, the part that I didn't like about that was, instead of Ava calling in an anonymous tip, she posted her social media pages detailing that she's decoded the message because the killer was in direct contact with her and knows who the next victim will be. Now, Matt ends up teasing her about loving the limelight just a little bit, albeit it is anonymous, okay? It's still limelight, nonetheless. And so as they're talking, y'all, she gonna have to put out another fire real quick because Nathan is out there showing his behind, but we gonna get to it. Now, Nathan is on the court and he's trying to give Danny some stiff competition, okay? He's actually doing pretty good, and he's even talking trash across the court. But he starts to get pissed at Danny because he feels like Danny is not even really trying to put on a good match, right? I mean, this is for charity after all, right? Now, Nathan ends up crashing out on the court for real, because he gets pissed about this call that the ref had made, right? So apparently the ref was trying to call the ball in. Nathan wanted the call to be called out, or the ball to be called out, because he wants this to be more competitive. It's not competitive enough for him. And so voices are getting raised, tempers are flaring, and well, it's one-sided. It's just Nathan. And Ava comes down to try to calm him down, right? And tell him that it's okay. We just need to go home. And he was like, no, I'm doing this because I want you to respect me. I want you to look at me like the man. And she was like, baby, but you are. Okay? Who said that I didn't respect you? Who lied to you and told you that? And so he was like, oh, okay, baby, you right. She just wants them to go home, right? And so he agrees. But when he gets back to the sideline, y'all, Matt is forever the instigator. Do you hear me? Because he ends up suggesting that the only reason she did all of that was because she wanted Nathan to stop embarrassing her out in public versus her actually forgiving him and trying to move past all this. And so this does nothing but raise Nathan's blood pressure even more. So Danny doesn't do himself any type of favors at all because he ends up asking Nathan, hey buddy, Nate, are we gonna do this or what? Because I got somewhere to be in about an hour. I'm actually finna get a liqueur flavor named after me. So what we doing? Y'all, this pissed Nathan all the way off. He ran right over to that man, hopped on top of him, and started to strangle him. She really finna be pissed at you, big dog. And so as they cart Nathan off to jail, they was like, Ava, is there an Ava here? Is there an Ava in the house? Okay, no. Well, wherever she is, Ava, you gonna have to come bail your man up out of jail, okay? He'll be down at the precinct waiting for you after we book him and print him. So after they take him to jail, y'all, Tori comes back home to have a conversation with Matt. Now, I did forget to mention that earlier in the episode, Drew had paid Tori a visit, right, on campus to basically, I guess, do a welfare check on her and make sure that she knows that she can turn to her if she ever needs any type of help getting out of this relationship with Matt. Now, she don't know that she's in a relationship with Matt. She just knows whatever information that Ava has told her, right? So Drew was leaning towards Tori being in this abusive relationship that may possibly escalate to her becoming a homicide victim eventually, because she's worked several cases like this. Okay, she knows abuse when she sees it, and although you never want to admit that something like that is happening, she doesn't need for the words to come out your mouth to know what's going on behind the scenes. And so when she talks to Matt later on that night, she doesn't say that Drew confronted her knowing that she's dating the West Side Ripper per se, but Matt takes it personally and asks if she's told Ava what happened. And so Tori was like, no, I haven't told Ava what happened just yet. And she denies that, along with her actually telling Drew any pertinent information about him and his real identity. Okay. So nobody knows anything. So he was like, okay, baby, that's good. Here, let me take that card that you had gave me, and reveals to her that in Ava's haste to try to decode this cipher from earlier in the day, she missed a pertinent piece of information from the message. The rest of the message was specifically targeted at him. Y'all, the copycat killer is basically taunting him, saying that they're better than him. Who is this person? I need to know. So at home, Ava is looking at the video that somebody done posted of Nathan acting a whole fool and getting arrested, right? When she receives a notification that the copycat killer has struck yet again. But this time, it wasn't the victim that she predicted it would be, thus causing the fluffies to turn on her in an instant. The internet can be so unforgiving. So relentless, okay? So backstabby. And so, y'all, she is mortified at the thought of being wrong and losing her flock. But this day is only going to get worse for her because Nathan calls for her to come bail him out, right? And so she apologizes to him on the front end of it because you're going to have to wait just a little bit longer, okay? She said that she got something to do. She's got to right one of her wrongs. Shout out to Bryson Tiller. She's got to right a wrong before she goes to go get him from the precinct. And so she heads down, or before she goes to the jail. So she actually heads down to the precinct to try to go talk to Drew to make amends, right? And so she gives the officer at the front way too much useless information that this lady probably never wants to hear, even on a good day, okay? And so she tells her to stop talking. Just shut up. That's what she told her. Just stop talking, shut up, and go on back to see Detective Drew Stevens. So we then start to see a montage between her and Drew working on her investigation board, but it's not the board that we actually think it is that Drew is working on, because when they actually show us the board, y'all, we see her working on a board that's based off Ava and Nathan's relationship with Matt. She's figured it all out, including the fact that Ava is Murder Bunny, which didn't take a rocket scientist to figure that part out. I mean, she was looking at her phone quite a bit, and I mean, whose TikTok is going to be blowing up like that if you not the Murder Bunny? Anywho, meanwhile, Ava goes to knock on the door, and we're both stunned to see a man named Drew Stevens answer the door. And so she was like, oh, I'm here to see Detective Drew. And he was like, Detective Drew, right here. I'm your guy. No, she was really looking for a girl. But y'all, she was expecting her Taco Tuesday friend, not a man. Now, over at Imposter Drew's house, because that's what we're going to call her from now on, we actually found out her name is Olivia. The guy mentions how crazy things have been in the city with the copycat killer running amok. Sorry about that, y'all, but that's the way the episode ends. Who y'all think is this copycat killer? Do we think that it's Drew still? Or Imposter Drew, excuse me. All right, so we're going to go ahead, because we got plenty of time left. We're going to go ahead and get into episode 6, which is called Based on a Drew Story. All right, so the synopsis for this one is Ava and Nathan look for Drew. Matt and Tori plan their wedding, but he gives in to his dark desires. Y'all knew Matt wasn't going to stay away for too long. Okay, y'all knew he was going to be back in shenanigans. So we begin the episode with Matt giving us part of his villain origin story with him talking to his brother about his admission letter to Cornell. Now, his brother seems like a pretty smart kid, okay? He seems pretty sweet as well. And so he lets Matt read it, and Matt gives it an old glance over, and he was like, man, this is pretty good. Okay. And so while he seems pretty positive and uplifting for his brother, y'all, their stepmom. Now, I don't know if this is his brother's mom or if this is both of their stepmoms, but either way, she is not. Okay. She is all of the opposite things that he is trying to be for his brother in this moment. Y'all, she calls his brother trash and even throws a stray Matt's way when she takes a dig at him for being a dropout who became nothing but a meager plumber. And so as she is eviscerating his ego, his pride, y'all, him as a man or a young man trying to find his way, Jesse's girl is playing in the background now. By this time, he done told his brother to go ahead and, type up another copy of this admission letter because she had balled up the other one and threw it in the trash. So like I said, Jesse's girl is playing in the background. And y'all, he ends up picking up this huge kitchen knife that just happens to conveniently be laying nearby and goes to work on his stepmama. That's probably why he hates Jesse's girl so much, okay? It started something bad for him, but maybe releasing at the same time. So my question was, did he ever get caught for this crime? Okay, and if he didn't, did his brother help him dispose of her body? Questions that need answers. Anywho, we jump to the present as he's sharing this story with Tori for the first time, and instead of her siding with the fact that he was a monster, she was wrong. The stepmama was definitely wrong for how awful she treated them, but she did not deserve to die. Okay, instead of her saying that, no, you was wrong for that, baby. You was definitely wrong for taking her out. Okay, she impulsively tells him that she wants to get married. She empathizes with him. And so now she wants to make it official today. That way, if anything goes left, she'll be prevented from having to testify due to spousal privileges. Okay, she learned about that in class, y'all. She learned it in class. Okay, now, when she brings this up, y'all, he's almost brought to tears. Okay, he has found the one that loves him unconditionally indeed. Charges and all. Felonies and all. I'm just saying, if they put out a reward for him, Tori, you ain't gonna think twice about making that phone call. Now, over at Ava's, she's still trying to get in contact with imposter Drew, okay, but keeps getting sent the voicemail. Tori comes over because Ava needs her to watch baby Jack while she goes to bail Nathan out. You let your man sit in there overnight, he better be glad I'm coming to get him at all. Because if it was up to me, he would have been waiting until his court date. And so she goes to bail Nathan out and try to track down imposter Drew. And despite her randomly throwing her son on Tori at the last minute, Tori has no complaints, which is highly unlike her. In fact, she's oddly positive and upbeat, and even asks if she can have some friends over, just hang out, have a little kickback later. We may be in the backyard doing some things, okay? I just wanted to get your permission first. And so Ava was like, okay, cool. As long as, ain't nobody trying to drunk hold my baby, we all right. She don't have time to figure out why Tori is acting so nice. This is completely out of character for her. One mystery at a time. But as soon as Ava leaves, it's very clear what Tori is trying to do. She wants to have this wedding in Ava and Nathan's backyard tonight. Now, Ava goes to pick Nathan up, and instead of them going home, she reveals what's been happening. And so they're going to go to Drew's place to see what's going on, because she believes that she too could possibly be in danger since she just up and ghosted her like she did, right? But when they get there, they find the whole place has been cleared out, like nobody ever even lived there. So while Ava is trying to figure out what the next move is going to be, the landlord actually drops by. And although he's suspicious of them and doesn't really give them too much information, he does drop Drew's real name. Her name is Olivia. And with that, y'all, Ava is off to the place where she believes the souvenir on Olivia's keychain came from. So once there, they notice that there are a lot of people at this bar for it to be 10 a.m. in the morning. Okay, I've heard of daytime drinking, but this is a bit too much. But the bartender tells them that it's been busy due to the copycat killer running wild and all. Okay, so people trying to get their drinks in when they can while it's daylight out. So they try to get info out of the bartender, but initially he's pretty tight-lipped until he recognizes Nathan as that crazy tennis player. Now, Nathan agrees to take a selfie with him as long as he helps Ava answer some questions. And I was like, come on, Nathan. He's always down for Ava's cause. Always supportive of her cause, okay? He does confirm that Olivia frequents the joint and oftentimes stays late to see who is willing to be her bed buddy for the night. Now, when they ask who she tends to go after, the bartender signals towards Detective Stevens' direction. And so she was like, oh, I know him. And so she realizes that the only person who would want to get their hands on that case file, aside from an actual detective, since she's clearly not one, would be the copycat killer. But Ava can't see Olivia being a serial killer. She just doesn't fit the profile, okay? Well, not hers anyway. Women are typically not serial killers aside from some exceptions like Eileen Wuornos, okay? But that's very rare. And besides, she doesn't really seem like the stabby type. But they'll figure that part out because once they see Detective Stevens leaving, so do they. And the bartender was like, hey, wait a minute, what about my selfie? Yeah, you gonna be all right. They'll be back eventually. So they end up following him to his home with no type of plan whatsoever. So y'all just gonna ring this man doorbell? But to his surprise, y'all, or to their surprise rather, he invites them in. Now, once inside, Ava questions him about his relationship with Olivia and threatens to report him to Internal Affairs because she was able to steal those case files and you neglected to report her doing so. So if you don't give us the answers that we want, you gonna be dealing with some questions, okay, that you will have to answer. And so now it's his turn to do the threatening. And so he brings up some type of law that's basically like a stand your ground type of situation, where if some people come in your house, he was going to play like they had broke in and he had a right to defend himself, thus basically shooting them dead. So they hurry up and exit stage left because they caught his drift. Meanwhile, back at their house, y'all, Tori shows Matt her progress with decorating the backyard, and he's very impressed with his lady love. But things take a little sour turn when she asks him if he wants to invite his son to the ceremony, seeing as how they're so close and all. And she even goes as far as to offer calling his baby mama if she needs some coaxing. But he declines, and once he tells her no, he tells her to never bring it up again. And the way that he said it was kind of stern, okay? And so she was like, oh, my bad, you know. But when he turned around, his face was all sunshine and rainbows. And he says that her family is now his family. And I didn't like the way that he looked when he said that, y'all. And so she was like, okay. And so he kisses her forehead and tells her that he has an errand to run. He'll be back before she even knows that he's gone. And in my head, and hopefully in her gut, she should have been like, now's the time to see what he's up to. So Matt ends up going to this AA meeting where he runs into Georgia. Now, y'all remember that Georgia was the lady that told him off, right? And she thought that she had scared him away after, of course, she confronted him in front of everybody. But he gives the excuse that he's just been busy. But clearly that's a lie. Turns out he's been trying to refrain from his impulses. Okay, he's been struggling real bad. But he's there to actually see Lauren's sister, who is there for the grief counseling meetings, that take place right before the AA meetings. And so, of course, because the grief counseling meetings ran over this go round, he's going to see her. Now, he's been having these thoughts about her taunting him when it pertains to her sister's death, seeing as how, he's not irrelevant, or he's not relevant anymore because she's gotten past the fact that her sister is gone, right? So he's there to hopefully just speak his piece. But with the way that he charged in her direction, y'all, I don't know. I don't know about that at all. Now, it's clear that they didn't get nowhere with Dirty Detective. And so Ava and Nathan decide to head to the park. And she goes to find the shady group that she had initially tried to befriend. And so they don't want to really say anything to her because she weirded them out really bad the first couple of times that they interacted with her. But she promises to give the guy some shrooms as long as they tell her everything that they know about Olivia. And so the guy reveals that Olivia came to them a week before Ava did to try to see if they knew anything about Ava, which means that she's been targeting Ava from the giddy up, from the jump, y'all. So they then head to the restaurant that they usually frequent in on Taco Tuesdays, and they're able to get a receipt reprinted that shows who the card belongs to that Olivia used at one time to pay for their meals, right? And so they end up showing up to the address that the card holder lives at, and is shocked to find that Olivia's baby that she claimed to have had, no, that ain't hers. She is not the baby mama. You never heard Maury say that, okay? So apparently, y'all, Olivia is the nanny of that cute little baby girl. So Ava brings the bio mom up to speed about Olivia's shenanigans, and she ends up putting all of the information that's been going down with Olivia on the Mommy Group app. Okay, so while they're solving mysteries, Matt is creating one of his own because we see him call Nathan, I'm supposing because he wants to establish some sort of partial alibi, but we'll get there. And so when he calls Nathan, he asks him to be his best man for this impromptu wedding that's supposed to be taking place in their backyard in a couple of hours. And so as Nathan is spilling his guts about what an honor this is to be bestowed this type of title from Matt is sneaking into the Dirty Detective's place and sticking a hunting knife through the man's neck and skull. Yep, he just took out Dirty Detective. And so he ends up grabbing a few money knots because Dirty Detective had his safe open. Okay, and in said safe, it was 2 or 3 money knots, the big bank rolls, with the rubber band attached. And he had a pound of a brick of cocaine along with a Rolex. So Matt helped himself to the money and a Rolex. And he finally takes Nathan off mute after he triggers the alarm system and closes the door. Now, with Nathan on the phone, like I said, I'm pretty sure that he's trying to establish some sort of partial alibi, but I was like, what if they track your phone? And so Nathan ends up telling Ava about the wedding. And when Ava gets home, she so desperately wants to scold her baby sister, but at the same time, she's in awe of how beautiful she looks. Okay, she's having a proud sister moment, but this is going to be a temporary moment of happiness because somebody comes ringing the doorbell. And when Nathan opens the door, of course, he doesn't recognize her. And I'm like, Ava, why didn't you show him pictures of her? It's Olivia coming to crash the party. So in the back, Ava is with Tori, and she ends up giving her this pearl necklace that she wore on her wedding day that was given to her by their mother. Now, while neither one of them is sure how real these pearls are, according to their mom's old saying, it's real enough to fool them. I like that. Fake it till you make it. She then brings up the fact that this wedding seems a little rushed, and she's kind of disappointed because she thought that Tori would want a more special day. And she was like, girl, this is special, but if we speaking honestly, this is all your fault. And so Tori goes on to tell her about her cop friend coming sniffing around asking about Matt. And Justice Ava is revealing to Tori that she is in fact not a cop, but indeed who she believes is the copycat killer. Nathan yells from the front that Drew is there to see her. So they both go out, and Ava tries to put up a front that all is well. You know, they got guests in the backyard, okay? People popping their heads in and out trying to see where Tori and Matt are. You know, they trying to keep their guests contained to the backyard. Don't come in right now. It's a lot of stuff happening. And so, like I said, Ava tries to put up this front, and she's just concerned about that. She was just concerned about Olivia's well-being. But Olivia sees right through it, and she was like, girl, cut the crap, okay? You know why I'm here. I'm here to take down Matt. I'm here to do us all a favor, okay? I've been knowing that he's the West Side Ripper, and how you been letting him slide. Y'all was working with him. You ain't reported him not once. And so she's here to do them all a favor. After all, didn't you tell me that you didn't like him for your sister? You didn't see it for them? Now, Tori claims that he is a changed man, and while Olivia's telling them, no, the hell he ain't, because I know what he just did. He just took out my boyfriend, Detective Stevens. Yeah, that's not her boyfriend. That's her cut buddy. But nonetheless, she is lacking now. And so she pulls out a gun, y'all, and she starts to wave it around real aimlessly while she's talking. I don't know why people do that. And so every time she wave it in their direction, they ducking. Which, yeah, that's the right thing to do. And so while she's doing all this, y'all, Ava happens to notice that Olivia is holding the gun in her left hand. And so Ava was like, hold on, wait a minute. You left-handed? And she was like, yeah. Shout out to the left-handed folks, okay? And so Ava was like, wait a minute, you're left-handed. That means you can't be the copycat killer, which infuriates Olivia even more because how dare you think that I'm some serial killer, okay? What type of crazy do you think I am? Now, if you're not the killer, then who the hell are you? And with that, y'all, Matt opens up the door and he's like, where's my wife? And both Tori and Olivia say, right here. Y'all, when they asked Matt who Olivia was, he was like, Livy, what are you doing here? Matt, who the hell is Livy? Livy is his ex-wife. I knew it, y'all. But she's not the copycat killer. So who is? It has to be somebody that's already here. Who do y'all think it is? Maybe it's Tori. That would be quite the twist, now wouldn't it? But she's had Jack. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the motive would be, y'all. I really don't. Maybe it's Nathan. I've always had my eye on Nathan because of how quickly he flips. But we gonna see. It's gotta be somebody we already seen because we only got 2 more episodes left. And with that, y'all, that's the way the episode ends. It was really good. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it, okay? You can reach me at Me and You TV Reviews on Facebook and on Instagram. You can also reach me at My TV Reviews Podcast without the S on the end. I love y'all, okay? Thank you guys so much for sticking around with your girl. Like I said, it seems like I've been gone for quite some time, but I am back, okay? Please rate and review if you haven't already. Please continue to spread the word about your girl because it's just a little on me, okay? And I don't be on social media like that, so the only way we gonna get our family to grow is if y'all spread the word, all right? So that's all I have for now. Y'all stay safe out there, and until we meet over the airwaves again, I am Mo, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.